somebody you don't know about yet is Paul Billups. As we've already said, Carolina has 2 wide receiver verbals in this class, Hamilton and Culliver. Who knows what happens with Concepcion, and then that might play into what happens on Wednesday when Paul Billups is committing. So before we get to his commitment, John, tell us about Paul Billups and his game.
Really like this receiver coming out of Virginia Western Branch, which is, yes, the same school as Dre Bly. Let's get that out of the way on the front end. This is a smooth, fast wide receiver. This is a very fun prospect to watch. Maybe has some room to go to round out his game, like we talked about with Concepcion. But I think with Billups, you're getting a lot of raw torque and some smoothness in his game. There's just some subtle movement skills that he has that really helps him to excel in the open field. It's why he's a great kick returner and punt returner. And one of these receivers that you can just kind of throw a screen to and let him go to work.
Let him go
thereafter, right? So the body control, the instincts are really off the charts in this regard. He's got good size to him there as well. So I think he's another guy that absolutely fits what we have already seen from that North Carolina perspective. And even though he's got room to grow physically and grow technically in his game, I like his floor and foundation. He can absolutely run. Again, there's some grace in how he moves on top of that, which is always going to keep you advantageous in the open field. So there's a lot to like about the big playability of Mr. Billups.
I love that. So he's a yak monster. He can play in the return game. You love that capability to do multiple things, the versatility. But some of those technical deficiencies at this point, what are some of the specific areas he does still need to grow in?
Well, I'll give him some credit. His high school doesn't ask him to polish up on the route tree as much as some others may, because they know his skill set and they're like, hey, let's get the ball in his hands right now and let him go from there. But I do think, from a route running standpoint, I think some of the footwork and some of the leverage discipline that the best receivers have is something that he could look towards improving in his own game. Again, I think as he fills out physically, I'm curious to see how that works and if he could bring a physical element to his game, because he's certainly a little bit more finesse at this point. But again, the ball skills are good there. Certainly the yards after catch ability is one of the best in the region as well. So there's a lot to work with in that regard. We've seen programs, put this thing together with a guy who has less traits than Billups. So it's not something, to be extremely worried about at this stage. But yeah, there's always room to improve physically and technically in this case.
Love that. Okay, so then let's move to his commitment, which is happening on Wednesday, August 24th. It sounds like there's 3 schools in the mix. How's that shaking out? How are you seeing this one, John?
I know there's 3, but man, it's felt like Carolina for some time here. Really, I think, like we said with KC, where NC State had that spring into early summer buzz, and then now Carolina has combated that. I think with Billups, it's Carolina's had that early spring and summer buzz, but no one's been able to really catch up in that regard. I know Virginia Tech, a couple other schools have tried to make runs at him. He's a Virginia kid, so you understand that certainly. But really, this has felt like Carolina's race to lose for quite some time, and I expect this to be a much, I guess, more calm commitment to watch for Carolina fans compared to KC and some of these others that are coming up, because I think this has been Carolina's race to lose for quite some time. He's taken the visits. I believe it was Carolina that got his last visit there as well, which is always important in the summer visit calendar. So, yeah, I think there really hasn't been anything to push back on the thought that Carolina was going to be the team to beat in this recruitment, especially once he set that verbal commitment date. Now, if it had moved or anything like that, maybe that's an indicator that other schools are gaining some ground, but I really see this one is coming up Carolina blue without a whole lot of drama. Stranger things happen. I mean, these are teenagers. Strange things happen, but I think as we currently sit in mid-August, this has been Carolina's race to lose for some time. It's just been a matter of, hey, when is he actually going to come off the board? And it turns out he's doing so right before his season gets going.